Today, we're going to stand up a Presearch node on Ubuntu using Hyper-V on the same machine as my Flux node. If you want to see what happens, stick around and let's do this. What up, Geek Squad? So what is a Presearch node? Presearch is a decentralized search engine. That's about what it comes down to. I will leave links down in the description to Presearch so you can find out some more information about it. Speaking of video description, I will have timestamps in the description below as well as in the timeline. So if you want to jump ahead, go for it. I won't hold it against you. So let's jump into this thing already. Here we are on the Windows desktop that runs my Flux node. This is using Hyper-V, which is a hypervisor that's native to Windows Professional and Windows Enterprise. Allows you to share physical resources like RAM and compute and storage and stuff with virtual machines that you make within Hyper-V. Using Hyper-V Manager, we're going to spin up an Ubuntu VM with Quick Create. We'll go down here to Ubuntu 22. It'll work with 20 as well. I'm not sure about 18, but more options. Let's just rename it Prenode, and we will use the new virtual switch, create virtual machine. It's as simple as that, as creating a VM. Now, if you're doing this for the first time, this is actually going to start with downloading the image, the ISO, and then go through verifying it. Since I've already downloaded the ISO, I don't need to download it again. Windows knows where that's at. Hyper-V knows where that's at on the machine.
Eventually.
All right, our virtual machine has been created successfully. So first thing we'll want to do is go in and edit settings. Just look around to make sure everything works as expected. Well, first off, we're going to need to bump this to 4096, so 4 gigs of RAM. We'll enable dynamic memory with a max allocation of 4096 as well. Hit apply. So this VM is actually only going to need 1 virtual processor, but we can keep it at 3, or we can even bump it up more to go through and set up the process so that it's smooth upgrades and updates and things within the Ubuntu OS and go faster and whatnot. All right, so everything looks good here. We'll go ahead and connect to our new VM and we'll hit start.
2 hours later.
Here we are. Go through and finish setting up our VM. Boy, it really is taking its sweet time there. There we go. New York, wherever you want to be, we'll name it, and we'll do login automatically, even though it doesn't seem to log in automatically, whatever. All right, while that is setting up for the VM, we're going to come down here to the other screen and talk about getting your Presearch account. Presearch.io, run a node. I'm going to come down here to launch a node. First thing it's actually going to do is tell you to log in or create an account. You just create an account with Google, get to this dashboard where you hit the 3 lines or the hamburger or whatever, hit dashboard, and this is what comes up. You'll notice here your node registration code. You're going to need this to copy into the Docker container. We can see here I've done this a couple of times so far. We're at the point where Ubuntu is set up. Something you're definitely going to want to add to favorites is terminal, especially if you're doing what we are doing here. Now, first thing we're going to need to do is install Docker, which is pretty simple. Again, I will leave a link to the installation steps that are necessary for this down below as well in the description. So we're going to go to sudo apt install docker.io and our super secure password. Simple as that. We've got Docker installed. Now we want to pull the Presearch node image from Docker's repository. So sudo docker pull presearch/node. And it's going to take a little bit longer. Nope, it's not. It's done. We're going to go back to our Presearch dashboard here and copy our node registration code. Something that I recommend, first off, you're going to want to create a text file with node registration command you'll get from the documentation below. In this piece here where it says your code here, that is where you are going to save the registration code here from your dashboard onto that script. And then, make a file or make a folder or something. And you can see I've done this a couple times so far. I'm just going to drag and drop that bad boy in there. Go back to our Linux VM, right click, open new private window for Firefox. I mean, you could sign in. I'm just gonna not.
Later.
Anyway, so we're gonna go into Google Drive, go to our folder and find the text document that we just made. And we're gonna download it. The reason I'm doing this is copy paste from your desktop to Hyper-V can be kind of a pain in the ass. If you're enjoying this video so far, go ahead and click that thumbs up button, give it a like. I would really appreciate it. Helps the channel. Oh my gosh. And there we are. So we get this error. And this is weird. I don't know if you're gonna get this or not, but I'm getting this, and I think I know why. So I have a Flux node running on the same machine, right? So Flux is using my public IP, my static IP from my ISP, to provide for its network. What I believe is happening is someone else is using my node to host their Presearch node using my IP address. So how do we get around this? First off, we're gonna have to exit the terminal. We're gonna try it with a VPN. Proton VPN has a free tier that's unlimited data. You do have to sign up for an account with them. Go into downloads. We're gonna go to Linux. And this can get kind of confusing, but follow the instructions on the Linux support page to install the app. We're going to download the VPN deb package. Now we're gonna open this software installer, and it might take a little bit for this to completely install. We'll go ahead and hit install, put in our super secret safe password. All right, it is installed, so we can close that install window. We'll go back to Firefox. So we'll go sudo apt get update and our password. Now we'll do sudo apt get install Proton VPN. This is probably going to take a little bit too. Just going to go through and install all the things for Proton. So while that's installing, down here on the main PC, we can scroll down and see that, yeah, so I did this before on a pre-VM. We did have connections, plenty of attempted requests, plenty of successful requests, and rewardable requests. So if I were staking pre at the time, I would have received pre. Now we open Proton VPN, whoops. And we're gonna sign in here just like you would sign into any account, right? I don't have to teach you how to do that. So we went through and that got all set up. So we're gonna go ahead and hit quick connect. Nope, that's not what I wanted to do, but I did it anyway. So it's gonna go ahead and connect to depending on where you're at, a US-based server. We're connected to Dallas. So you could go through and pick one. I would advise that you go through and find one that's green or not very utilized, like you can kind of hover over the eye here. Anyway, we're hooked up there. We can go ahead and open terminal again, go back to our text editor, paste it here, put in your password, connecting to the gateway, and now your node is live. So node is listening for searches. Great, that's fantastic. That's exactly what we want to see. But what I'm wondering is what happens when Proton VPN's exit node or VPN node is oversaturated, or IP address changes, or they move you from Dallas to Chicago or something like that, and you don't know about it while it's still connected. Or so you can see I kept this server up for a couple of days. I kept the node up and running for a few days. Yes, I got attempted requests, I got successful requests, I got rewardable requests. Latency score was pretty darn low, so this does introduce quite a bit of latency to the network using a free VPN service like this. There are paid ones out there. If that's something you want to utilize or you're already utilizing, maybe this would be a benefit for you. So back to the nodes list. Here is our pre-node that we just made. So this is where we would go in and we would stake our pre and change the description to new pre-VM. That we've got our VM right here. Previously, I went in here and I changed the VPN node on the fly with Presearch running, and it screwed up a lot of things. Let's see what happens when we change the VPN node going from Dallas. We'll go to Chicago. So right now it says node is listening for searches, so it's doing its job. It's up and running. What happens when we switch over? So that simulates a change on the fly, gateway error, unavailable. So that wasn't the same error I got last time because it was connected to the previous IP address when the communication between the gateway and the node are happening, and then all of a sudden the node fails. It's going to try to reconnect to the gateway. The error I received before was a duplicate error. All right, so we're going to manually close the terminal with copy our run command, Control-Shift-V. Now it's trying to connect again. Duplicate node, yeah. Node already marked as connected. Please ensure the previously connected instance is stopped before reconnecting. Yeah, so there's nowhere here where I'm able to disconnect. What if I delete? Which one says new pre-VM? So we'll go ahead and hit delete. Registration code stayed the same. So let's try to start it again, and it shows connecting. Node is listening for searches. So it looks like if Proton VPN switches your IP address, your exit point, it's just gonna sit there and try to reconnect for a while, and it's not gonna reconnect. We'll go ahead and hit refresh, and yeah, there's our new node. And leave a description. Let me know what you think, if this is worth it, if it's, is the juice worth the squeeze? I've never run a pre-node before. I don't know what kind of rewards I could expect. As of right now, that's a lot of work. Anyway, leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think about this, your thoughts on Presearch in general, your thoughts on setting this up, and maybe if you see something that I didn't, because that's absolutely possible, let me know. Let me know what I could be doing different or what I should have been doing different. And of course, thanks for watching.